It was the late 2014. Obsessed with turntablism and producing, I had been publishing my work for a while. Eventually, my growing passion for bodybuilding unlocked a deeper urge to say and express more. Personal branding, one-person businesses, and of course, the creator economy, none of these were tossed around like they are now. Nevertheless, enlightened individuals shared wisdom acquired through trial and error. Some didn't just influence me, they reshaped my worldview of what is possible until my inner voice said, you should do that too. I had no friends but ideas and thoughts I couldn't waste into the void of randomness and local noise. I needed to make them available for those who'd resonate. As a youngster, I really enjoyed StarCraft, but MRC, well, a decade earlier, the MRC also reshaped my life. It basically showed me that my immediate environment, or people in my class, didn't have to determine who I dated or hung out with. That depended on my intent and determination to find the right people, so it was only natural for me to get into content. Especially since I've always been into concepts and cultures that normies and locals find bizarre and rather unnatural. I yearn to discuss those topics and share personal stories and ideas, but my shyness and insecurities got in the way. Intuitively, I focused on useful information and results I struggled with but finally achieved. Long story short, I pioneered using the OMAD plan and NoFap as a self-development and bodybuilding devices in the current era, so I basically taught others how to get my results. No, not because of having the best physique or being able to rub six-figure success in their face, but because none of it involved torturing like tracking calories, macros and cheat meals, mindless willpower exertion and quote-unquote discipline fanboying, and fighting basic urges to prove a point in ridiculous challenges. Creator advice. As a noob, I needed advice which led me to vague and sometimes directly contradicting notions and tips like smile, just start, be yourself, be unique, post regularly, smile again, and say hey guys, which though not necessarily mentioned, seemed the most essential. Things like scripting, proper gear, settings, sound, and A-roll and B-roll were basically ignored. Ironically, those pushing that agenda and giving you such tips usually have the best gear and settings and never happen to film with their phones. Go figure. No boundaries. As far as I know, the internet was about removing boundaries, which implies readily articulating ideas in the language of the world. Yet English was also not mentioned. What do you know, learning it to actually articulate yourself properly turned out to be much different from getting school grades or TOEFL or other certificates the locals once rubbed in your face. So while taking the common creator advice surely got me started, down the line it led to self-abuse and burnout, which I wasn't prepared for. Maybe an angel and a demon work simultaneously. Don't be yourself. Part of doing magic effectively is deconditioning yourself. According to LHP scholar Don Webb, yourself is really a set of constructs, notions, and paradigms that your upbringing embedded in you. Besides setting limitations that are considered as quote-unquote acceptable by your upbringing, they influence everything. Your talk, walk, facial expressions, gestures, and basically whole body language. If that is really you and you like it, then everything is okay. But does it actually reflect your deep sense of aesthetics and taste? And if you have such sense, do you know how to convey it? Don't press record. Now, such quote-unquote smile a lot, be yourself, low effort advice took plenty of time as I often had to re-record due to either of the following. Unawareness of the rule of thirds, going all over the place and entirely missing my point, over or underexposing or using the sun as a key light while it moves during the take, and genuinely despising how I looked. Yeah, why not waste time doing such things instead of actually writing a proper script and using a teleprompter, which nobody, especially those using them the most, mentioned back then? So the other common advice, which is just press record, also didn't work for me as I had to press it several times just to get the arrow of one video. Mental health. Eventually, the urgency to post and regurgitate topics collided with the reality that I was stuck in a pile of garbage and sacrificing my childhood passion because of that garbage. My inner voice started asking me, is this who you are and what you're really about? Do you actually ever say hey guys in real life? And do you really smile a lot in person? The clear answer was no. And by the way, the people who actually inspired me the most as a child were exceptionally skillful artists and inventors, yet they seldom smiled in their photos, interviews, and album covers. Although I pretty much never got any negative comments, the permanent burnout for something I wasn't getting paid for, nor was I proud of, met such a realization. My already high anxiety brought me to an extremely dark period, which upon recent existential discussions, ChatGPT likened to what Magick calls the desert of my soul. Not writing. Unlike an article, a thread, or a tweet, you can re-edit as much as you want. A published video is final. You hit publish, and there is nothing you can do about it while making yourself vulnerable to the whole world. Are you proud of it? Do you like yourself? Does the person in it have an inspiring personality? Are they really unique? How unique, since 4 out of 5 YouTubers say, hey guys, digress a lot and smile even more. The anxiety led to severe panic attacks, which turned into 4 years of agoraphobia and the inability to leave my home. Sure, experimenting with modafinil due to underperformance anxiety played a role after reading the Bulletproof Diet, which actually has some great information. Conversely, my mental state was already pretty bad, and yet I smiled, said hey guys, kept discipline, posted as much as I could, permanently went the quote-unquote extra mile listening about amazing opportunities, Navy SEALs, and Gary Vee reviewing wine. Self-Reinvention. The first piece of non-technical, non-nonsense advice was to self-reinvent, yet I didn't know how. All I knew was that sharing knowledge and experience with like-minded individuals globally was what I was supposed to be doing. At around 2018, for whatever reason, some rappers and influencers started pushing the Go Hyper Local agenda, which might be great if you're in a place like ATL, but it never made sense to me. So be more responsible when you have a global impact. Magick. Seeking a solution to my panic disorder got me into Magick. One of the first things it did was to get me focused on writing, so I started reading my scripts from a piece of paper, or at least to have bullet points. Soon the urge to write a book became very persistent. Scared shitless, I started writing OMAD games while making the most out of my anxiety free time, which wasn't a lot. Writing felt awesome while going in front of the camera awful. Magick reveals our true nature, and I'm a writer first. Isis Apophis Osiris, Yao. Up until now, writing is one of my favorite parts alongside editing, filming B-roll, and perhaps title animations. The first is birth, the second rebirth. Filming A-roll, on the other hand, is the dead part of the process in the middle, or what Seth Godin calls the dip. A video completed on time is a micro-initiation. We die and are reborn as more capable of enduring the randomness of the algorithm. Magick helps. A lot. And probably we are addicted to both. Mr. Cynical. At that time, I listened to a lot of audiobooks, including self-help, philosophy, and Star Wars The Old Republic novels. Fascinated with the characters' depth and complexity, I wanted to learn more. The algorithm showed me a Darth Kraya video delving deeply into philosophical and existential themes. The video was faceless and narrated like an actual audiobook. Made by Rick Effect, aka Mr. Cynical, it was something I had not seen before. No smiles, no hey guys, or CTA to follow yet another amazing personality on IG. Just pure death. Needless to say, I became a fan, rewatching all of Rick's stuff, though he never told me to subscribe actually. Tech reviewers. Eventually, Rick dropped the Evangelion video, which entirely changed the way I view content. Meanwhile, I got more into tech and quote-unquote creator content, which, though also mostly faceless, or at least often, had an incredible quality. Everything was structured and well-paced. There weren't those disgusting cuts in the middle of a word or a sound. There were composed shots, motion, and great sound. The arrow was butter, nice depth of field, particle whites and items, telling you about the person's story, passion, and what they are really about. It felt inviting into one's world. Watching such videos, I actually wanted to be inside the shot with the creator and ask them about their tech, musical instruments, or life in general. On the contrary, plenty of quote-unquote discipline, self-improvement, and to quote or esoteric content felt the opposite, especially that the algorithm pushed to me. It got me thinking, why not use some of that discipline and rituals to step up your creator game, especially if you really have an amazing personality and presumably care about the viewer? Plus, don't most esoteric books start with the notion that occultists are exceedingly creative people? According to Kabbalistic wisdom, everything reflects everything. Your work and artistry echo your development as an adept of life and philosopher of nature. I wanted to combine both the depth and the cool shots, but discuss what was on my mind without being in front of the camera. Besides my swider, I got a gimbal and almost the best mic money can buy, the Neumann TLM 103, which wasn't a smart investment. I started making mostly faceless reviews of esoteric books on a new channel as the old one felt pretty bad. Soon I realized that better gear can't make up for the lack of skills. Exotics like sliders, gimbals and drones won't ever make up for bad lighting, a shot without intention, shitty lens or a camera, let alone a shitty creator. Represent. After we started dating, my girl began mentioning I should really back my work with my face. Eventually, I sold the Neumann and rearranged my space to actually reflect who I am. I also updated my camera and lens, sold more stuff I no longer use, and started learning about camera settings and work footage. Yes, besides skills, content also requires money, which is another creator gurus seldom discuss, maybe because they're sponsored by Sony or Canon. Ultimately, I stopped trying to be the version of myself the algorithm wanted. I stopped hiding behind depth without quality or quality without truth. Inspired by people like Mark Bone, Creative Ryan, YC Imaging, and Christian Mategrap, I recently fell in love with the handheld footage and announced my slider and gimbal for sale. At this point, they feel like a crutch I no longer need. New tripod. Wanting to film more in nature, I pulled the trigger on a Surrey Traveler X. Only 900 grams, this tripod is one of the best bang for buck things I got in my whole creator career. While Surrey doesn't sponsor my work, the tripod is so light I forget that I have it in my backpack when I'm in the field. Maybe they should. So my message is this: create now with intention, not desperation, not to perform but to build a signal for those who resonate. The more the creator economy matures, the more we will agree it was never about finding a niche, but about becoming someone whose voice makes the niche. But that's just my opinion. Let me know if it resonates, and thank you for your time.